Hey guys, welcome to our new series, Trading Tips Tuesdays. Now, I know what you're thinking, wow, that series title's a bit of an enigma, I don't know what it's all about. Well, basically, on Tuesdays, we're going to release a video where we're going through some trading tips. So these are things that aren't necessarily lessons, some of them will be, but these are little bits and pieces, tips, tricks, and hacks that we've picked up over the years, myself and the team, which we wanted to share with you, but so far haven't quite fitted into a lesson nicely. So instead, we thought that every Tuesday we could do a video like this where we group together ones that we think will be useful for you and show them to you. So you can choose which ones you want to do or not. You don't have to take all of them on board, just take the ones that you think are going to be relevant to your trading and are going to help you to either be more efficient, get that extra edge in the market if you're at a stage where you're just looking for those marginal gains, and just generally make your trading life better and easier. Right, that's what we all want. We want to be able to deliver good returns with minimal risk in the best and most efficient way possible. So in this very first episode of this brand new series, I want to talk you through 3 broad steps that you can take starting today that's going to help you to achieve more depth with your analysis in the markets, and then how you can take this to apply it to your trading to improve your overall performance. So let's get started. All right, the first step is all about taking notes of the charts properly. Now, I know people have trading journals where they write about what happened after the trade's closed or even during the trade, but I don't see many people taking the right sort of notes for their analysis. So let me go and show you what I do, and then maybe you can start applying this to your own analysis as well. So like I just said, a lot of people will keep trading journals, but they'll often just fill these in after a trade has been closed, which means that they'll show all of their analysis and decision-making process leading up to a trade, but then all of the times that they've got this analysis and decision-making process that didn't lead to a trade, they don't have a track of it. So I realized this was holding me back with my trading in 2 ways. The first way was that it meant I couldn't look back at my analysis in the future and try to improve. I couldn't see if my decision-making models were correct. I couldn't see if there were any flaws or things that I needed to improve. So that was one thing that was holding back my development. And the second thing was it meant I couldn't use my analysis again in the future. And that's a really important thing. So this chart here is Euro Swiss franc, and if you're one of our premium members, you may have seen on our app last week, I did a live stream where I was analyzing this chart from start to finish. So there was no analysis on there before, I just did like from a clean slate the whole thing. And it was quite a detailed analysis, looking at different time frames, assessing based on the different time frames which levels were important, which ones weren't, which ones were going to be dominated by other levels. And as a result of that, we were able to pretty much outline every single movement that's happened to the market after about this point, including that we were waiting for a potentially bigger move all the way down here as it tied into other time frames and the levels we had there. Now, in that decision-making process, there were certain levels where someone might enter a trade, but if they went through the whole top to bottom analysis, they'd realize why that maybe wasn't the right thing to do, or maybe why they'd have to approach their trade management differently. So if you are doing that full analysis each day on each of the currency pairs you're following, and it takes you about 40 minutes per market like that one took for me, or maybe it was a little bit less, then that might be wasted effort if you can't recall that analysis at a future point in time, because inevitably you're going to forget some of the details. So what I do instead is keep an Evernote file. So here's one that I've been preparing today for Euro USD. And what you want to do is at the start of the day, create a new note. Here you can see I've got it sorted from year, then month, then day. So it sorts nicely in the notebook. Then I'll copy what was on the previous day's one, and then just change things that have changed since then, including updating the screenshots. So depending on what time frames you trade based on, then you may have like different things you need to include in there, things that are important to you. For me, I do trade intraday, but I know that if I take note of intraday stuff in here, then most of the things I take note of are going to be irrelevant by the time I've written them down. So I focus on the bigger picture in here, and then any intraday stuff will go into my trading journal after a trade. So I've got some key bullet points. You don't want to write too much information. You want to figure out how to abbreviate things in a way that you can understand so that you can figure it out at a glance what you should be doing. Then look at the key areas for your system. For me, I'm looking at structure, path of least resistance, the potential setups, and then just a bit of fundamentals there. On some days, I might elaborate on this a bit more, but for today, I've just got everything short because I wanted to do it before this video. And then at the end of the day, I've got my end of day summary where I'll take note of what happened that day, what I need to take note of next time, which levels I adjusted, and so on. Now, this can be used for making my analysis much deeper because it means that when I do an in-depth analysis, perhaps at the start of a week, when I then go and jump into the charts and I see things as a snapshot, rather than being like most traders who will just trade based on the levels they're seeing, I can look at what analysis I did before, see where there are conflicts, see where there are dominant time frame levels going on, and see how different things are going to disrupt my analysis or boost different analysis that I see, different areas of the analysis. And the other benefit is if we go up to the daily chart here, if you were watching the live stream, you'll remember that we went back and looked around this area of the chart where we're interacting with right now. And we were wondering what's going on there. Now we can see the chart's a bit of a mess around there, but we want to know what was happening. So imagine if you've been taking these notes every day, you can just look at what date it was. So there's the 24th of March 2017. You can look up that note and figure out what was going on there. So it's taking things to the next level where you can actually see, are there any levels that are useful for me now? You can also, if you go to your Evernotes, you can add tags. So for example, let's say it's ECB day, you might add ECB day. And that means next time you've got an ECB day, you can look at what happened on the previous ones, read about how the market reacted, read the end of day summary, and have yourself really well prepared for it. Okay, it's one thing to be able to write all of this down, but it's another thing to actually be able to use it. Now, a simple trick that's going to help you to be able to use all of this information and add more depth to your analysis when you're actually breaking down a potential trading opportunity is to put it all on the chart. This means you'll actually be able to use all of this detailed information to improve the way that you're trading. So let's jump into the charts and I'll show you how I do that in MetaTrader. Yes, I use MetaTrader, but you can always use something similar in TradingView or whatever else you're using. I just prefer to do my charting in MetaTrader. I have my reasons, okay? Alright, so of course it's one thing to be able to have the deep analysis, but no one's going to be referring back to a note all day. You need something that's actionable, that's right there in front of you. So what I've done here, I've got my Euro USD levels on the weekly and the daily, and I've created little labels to show like what the levels are that correspond with what I've got in my note. So you'll see down here in path of least resistance, I've got explanations for the levels. Because some levels might not just be as straightforward as you think. There might be some nuances or details that you want to remember for future trading sessions. And so if you label them, you can see precisely what you were thinking at that time. Now, I must admit that in the past, I used to do a much more detailed labeling of my charts. I'd have, rather than just TL1, I'd have a whole description and explanation there. But MetaTrader, which I'm using, and I use it because of the coding side of things, MetaTrader doesn't allow you to have a lot of text and it's a bit inconvenient. So I used to use just the standard charting platform that was available with my broker, and I stopped doing that. I stopped having a separate platform just for my labels probably around 2013, so quite a while ago now. So to create these labels that you see here, we're going to use this tool up here, which is the Draw Text tool. Now you might have it in your toolbar. If you don't, you can right click, go to Customize, and here you can choose what tools you want to appear there. Or alternatively, you can go to Insert, Objects, Graphical, and you'll see text. And this type of text here will basically stay in one place. So if you want to label this trend line here, when you move around, you can come back and it will still be there. And if you go to Properties, you can choose which time frames you want it to appear on. So I just want it to be on the daily chart. So I'm going to label my chart with those. And then if there are things that I need to keep in mind for that specific session that I want to appear on my chart, regardless of where I am. So if I'm all the way back here looking at something, if I'm on the weekly chart, I want it there. For example, you can see here, I've got a little reminder that at 1:30 we've got US durable goods, at 3 o'clock we've got US consumer confidence, and then the setups that I'm waiting for down here as well, so I can remember about those. So this one, instead of the draw text, we're going to be using this, which is the text label. Now, if you go to Insert, Objects, Graphical, then it's there, the label. So you can insert your text and have it on the chart so that regardless of what you're doing, you can remember very easily, okay, this is SHL1, I can check my notes, cross-reference it, and make sure that I'm on track. Okay, so we've got it mapped on our charts. We've got a note in our Evernote or wherever you're keeping it. And now this step is all about how we use that information in the future, how we update it, and how we can be smart about keeping a record so that if at some point in the future we think certain things might be useful again, we can incorporate those back into our trading. Let's check it out. Okay, the final one. This is the cherry on top. You see, it's all well and good having all of these levels now, but things get adjusted and you don't want to be remapping levels if you go back in time and check out what's happened previously. Like for example, okay, this trending structured move down here, I want to know what happened. I check my note, I see what happened and it's got some levels. I want to see if those levels are still relevant. Well, I can load the charts from around that time. You see, at the end of each daily session, if you really want to be extra prepared for the future, you can go to File, Profiles, Save As, and then Save Each Day. I'd recommend starting with the year because then it's going to sort in the right order, then the month, then the day, and then the chart, obviously. Now, if you save those in a separate folder, you can also find those folders, and if you want to find them, the easiest thing is go to File, Open Data folder, and it will show you where these things are being saved, and then drag the file into the Evernote note in the end of day summary. And in future, if you want to go and look at a date like over here, okay, 31st of July, I'm going to find that note, read up what happened, load up the charts and see what's relevant. So you're ultra prepared. And those traders who are the most prepared are going to be the ones that have the best performance, the best returns compared to the risk, because they know exactly what they should be doing at any moment in time. So take that time, take that effort to be extra prepared and you won't regret it. All right, guys, as I said at the start, this isn't necessarily going to be for everyone, but if you keep checking out this series, maybe every now and then you'll come across a tip, trick, or a hack that's going to help you and your trading. And if you're going to be using this one, leave a comment down below letting me know. And if you've got any questions about how to implement it, just ask away and we'll answer those in the comment section. So if you like the idea of this new series and you found this one useful, then hit the thumbs up button. Don't forget to subscribe for more videos and to not miss these ones. We have some new series starting already this week. And don't forget, if you want to learn more about how I trade and how my team trades, which is the Duomo method, then we've got an introductory course. It's linked in the description box and it's absolutely free. It's about 2 or 3 hours long, definitely worth checking out. So while you go and check that one out, I'll be preparing the next lesson for you. I'll see you then. Take care. Thanks for watching.